Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I make turtles.
It's now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Yo, what's up? Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That guy over there dressed in green is D-Mac, Darren McCarty, dressed in green every day. This time it's externally, of course. We have Sam Flannel. He's on brand. You like that one? That was low-key. We got Sam Flannel on brand and on budget. Day number 14 of 365 consecutive days of flannel for Sam Flannel. He's a soldier. He's doing it. Speaking of soldiers, you know who we got. Sawyer Benj. Yes, a little inside radio right there. Sawyer Benj here in the building as well. Happy to have y'all along for the ride. Whatever you guys got going on a St. Patrick's Day, first day of the NCAA tournament. You get this every so often, D-Mac, where it's St. Patrick's Day on one of the opening days of the tournament. That could be a lethal combination.
Well, we were talking about this before the show, but a lot of things in life has been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
Yeah.
All the professional alcoholics always say, "Oh, this is just an amateur day,"
hour,
and all that stuff. But we were reminiscing about a few St. Patty's Day that we've had, and I brought up, you always bring up like the old shillelagh stuff like this, but I brought up the Grand Trunk. Downtown, man. One of the great low-key old school bars, but little D-Mac history. So one of the, not only did I just celebrate 12 years of the St. Patty's celebration of meeting my wife, but a few years later, so this would be, or actually the year later, 2011, because it was 14 years after the March 26th, which we're coming up on 25-year anniversary of Claude Lemieux. We started at the Grand Trunk, probably ended about 4 in the morning. I had an interview in Toronto at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, so if you watch that Michael Landsberg off the record, Claude Lemieux and I sitting down for the first time, wasn't good. Don't have an interview with D-Mac when he's drinking the day after St. Patty's Day. So everybody be out there. Anyways, enjoy your day. I think this one hits a little bit bigger because of what we've all been through. So I hope everybody's out there enjoying. Be safe. In today's day and age with all the apps and stuff, don't drive. Please don't drive. And enjoy your day. And I want to hear some great stories because, it got to the thing, Neil, where we know that we're, I guess, older and supposedly got to be wiser because you're not going to do something or that you haven't done before.
Right.
You've already done the story, and you told a great story about your buddies on your golf trip. And sometimes it takes because I think perspective is all this. And tell the people.
Yeah, so we got we got one of the OGs, one of the wily vets that goes on our little golf excursion we do every year, and you know how it is. You go up for the weekend. Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday, you come back on Sunday. It gets you get it in. Like that's what you do, and you go downtown and go to the bars after the golf's done and all that kind of stuff. And we were packing up, getting ready to go down there on the Saturday night of the trip. Now you got to remember, you're battle tested at that point. You're 2 days deep. You know how it works. And one of our OGs said, "You know what? I'm not going." And we do what guys do. We're giving him a hard time and stuff like that. And he goes, "Look, you guys aren't going to do anything that we haven't done before or that I haven't seen or that we haven't seen, and I'm not going." And then he closed the door. Hey, we made fun of him and stuff like that.
And you went.
And I went, and I did go. But I'll tell you what, that whole time I was there.
You were.
I was like, yeah. Like, you know what? Jimmy's right.
Jimmy's got a point.
You know what
it reminds me of? Quarterback draft capital. Neil Rule's got a point.
And that's a great segue, D-Mac, because we will talk about that. There's been some movement. Look, it's not me saying I told you so. That's not the moment, okay? We're not to that. All it is a little affirmation that the possibility I presented to you may play itself out. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a little bit in the show. The NCAA tournament, it will be underway during our show today. Michigan will be playing Colorado State. We will get to that. Pistons in action, Red Wings in action. Red Wings, thankfully for them, are out in Vancouver playing at 10 o'clock tonight, which is where they belong with the way they've been playing as of late.
Wow, look at see what they did for all the Irish and all the people enjoying St. Paddy's Day. They put that game so we didn't have to really watch. Everybody's going to be passed out, right? And just bet the over, go to bed.
It's pretty. Wake up, saw you won, and just moved on.
You can't be mad if you're an overs better and you've been taking the Wings the last 2 weeks.
No, because there's been no stress.
I mean, like, that's the balance, so.
Yep. We'll talk Tigers as well a little bit later on in the show. Miguel Cabrera in particular. Big thank you to Isaiah Thomas, too, for the tweet yesterday, the kind words that he said. And that discussion had a little viralness to it yesterday in the social media world. But there's a little table in like the kitchen area here at our Woodward Sports compound that we share with the Lady Jane's headquarters here. It's my that's where I always end up sitting.
So your office.
I have the left chair on the end. I sit there. I put my backpack. On the other side,
you
sit on the other side. We talk.
All 3 TVs when you're talking and tune you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing I do with the TV behind you.
Exactly.
It's funny you bring that up. But anyway, Sawyer and I are sitting there kicking it. There's a couple other people that are eating their breakfast. I eat lunch at this time because we're at the Planet Fitness studio, so I go to Planet Fitness beforehand. So I'm eating lunch. One of the other people here had a bagel with extra cream cheese on it. I mean, and it was an intense amount of cream cheese. And so this is how quickly this stuff can happen. Our first poll of the day, and I got a couple in mind today. Our first poll of the day, for you that eat bagels with cream cheese in the morning, I do it from time to time. Do you do it for the bagel or do you do it for the cream cheese? Because for me, the bagel is just a socially acceptable way of delivering a massive amount of cream cheese for breakfast.
Okay,
I can't just have a brick.
Saying that,
I can't just have a brick with a butter knife and chopping off cream cheese and eating it. That's not socially acceptable. But if I put it on a bagel, it's acceptable.
But in saying that, right, it's sort of like what you said. But you can overdo it. There can be too much. It's sort of like the icing on the cake, right? It's sort of how do you like your icing on your cake. So
right.
I would say extreme was a great word for the bagel, which was too much, which would I would think that every second bite with the extreme amount that I saw on that bagel, you'd be getting 1 piece of bread and then 2 pieces of cream cheese.
Yeah.
So that's a little too much. But I think that it's above average. Like, you want to err towards the side of extreme. Because I'm more with you, but to me it's more like ice. Like, how do you like the icing in your cake? Because it can be overwhelming. Because you don't really want to
not with cream cheese.
You don't want to glob the whole.
See, I do. It's all about the cream cheese.
Okay.
It's not like that for icing.
Any specific
with me.
Cream cheese?
A regular cream cheese, usually. Regular cream cheese.
Not even like a strawberry or
tends to be a lot of sugar in that.
Favorite honey almond.
Tends to be a lot of sugar in those subsidiary cream cheeses.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I prefer the organic one. I'm not going to lie.
But you could you could organically just glob.
Absolutely.
Cream cheese.
Absolutely. I don't do it all the time.
The honesty.
But when I do it. I go hard.
Right. Okay. But as you should. As you should. Even The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, says everybody should have a cheat day.
Every day should have a cheat day. On our YouTube chat thread, you can tap in to that. We'll take your thoughts all day long on that as well. If you're listening on the radio, 93.5 The Roar, we appreciate that. Also, 94.7 HD2. Our social media handles are on the screen. You can get involved with the show any way you choose. We'll get your thoughts in there. You're taking the time to listen and watch the show. Least I can do is read what your thoughts are on it. And they don't have to be positive. They can be negative. They can be negative to DMAC. They can be negative to me. I'm a big boy. I can take it. The check's,
I'll find you, though.
Yeah, he'll find you. But I can take it. The check still clears either way. JD
I don't
Smith.
get paid. That's why.
JD Smith, 3111. Glad you wore green today, Neil. Well, it's a Detroit City. It's a City Thursday edition here. We're going to talk to somebody from Detroit City FC every week that they have a match in the USL, the United Soccer League championship level. Charleston will be in town at Keyworth this Saturday at 4 o'clock. I suggest you come out if you haven't yet because it will be bumping out there at Keyworth. DebtCityFC.com for tickets. minutes, we'll talk to Sean Mann. He is the CEO and the co-owner of Detroit City FC. We'll get some 30,000-foot stuff, what they have lined up, all of that as well. Make sure you vote also in our YouTube chat poll. Is the bagel just a vehicle for the cream cheese? 48% of you say yes. 23% of you say no. 29% of you say it depends on the bagel. So, you know, that's a pretty much a 50-50 split. Is that fair, Sawyer?
Yeah, I'd be down with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, speaking of the bagel, right? Does it depend, or is it just like a plain bagel, or is like, I know my wife's like an everything bagel. That's too much for me. I like the chocolate chip, or I like the sesame.
Chocolate chip strong. Sesame seed one's good. That's really about it, though. I'm not going to get carried away with like the cinnamon raisin. And you talk about too much, that's too much to me.
Okay. See, I got to admit, and it got me thinking here because I think Jenna asked or somebody said about putting butter and cream cheese on your bagel. Well, I'm a big English muffin guy.
Me too.
I like English muffins and with the butter and jam. Like that's a Canadian in you right there. Is that it? That goes back to the Commonwealth?
I think so. The Queen. The Queen would be pleased.
Thing. Speaking of the Commonwealth thing, I'm super excited tonight. Anybody who's going to be down in Brownstown for the 2-day Horror Slam death match, the Australian champion Joel Bateman's in town, so get to go hang out with him and chop some stuff. So I'm excited, man. One of the guys that I've been watching for a long time from Australia is down the road right now. So I'm stoked at that. Good luck with the DCFC. Look forward to talking to Sean Mann and ask him. You know, my question would be to him, is that now you're like leveled up? What does it mean as owner?
For real, yeah. I mean, and Sean will answer.
We talk about the players, and we saw, you know, sort of the men and the guys, the physicality. Obviously, we saw the level of play on the field, but I want to know what the level of play off the field is.
And I've told you guys this before. If you like good sports stories, Detroit City FC is everything that you guys propose that you want, right?
Yep.
Like organic growth, built the right way, didn't leverage the city for tax dollars to redo the stadium, to renovate the stadium, renovated a public school, football stadium. I mean, it checks all the boxes.
It's, you know, when they say this, like the people's team. Like
it
this
is
the city, the city's
people
team.
have a 10% ownership stake in it,
right? And then the city team, and they go and the way they do it, and from being down there, you can feel it. Everybody's a part of it. This is their team, and it's amazing. And you could be a part of it too. It's so inviting to be a part of it. So it'll be interesting to catch up with Sean.
And we will. We'll talk with him on our bar discussion because it is St. Patrick's Day. Detroit Dabber 313. The Grand Trunk is sweet, really good food too. Their food is incredible at Grand Trunk. Grand Trunk is probably my favorite. I really, really like the brass rail for like the stadium thing, and it's over there by this. That's my favorite stadium / Little Caesars Arena / Red Wings, Tigers, Pistons game place. That's where I like to roll. But if I'm going to go out like on a Saturday night and we're going to the Grand Trunk, man. I'm stopping by there for at least one. I love that spot.
It's always cool because it's right downtown in the city, and you can, if you don't know it's there, it's almost like it's sort of like hidden. It's one of those Detroit gems.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see what else we got here. Also, he says the Gaelic Lead, Nancy Whiskey. There are some pretty legendary spots.
Nancy Whiskey's great. Oh, I forgot about the St. Patty's Day and Nancy Whiskey. That's a good one, too. Anywhere downtown, it's a good time.
Harley Fife, no green beer for me today. I had some green coffee instead. You could do green tea, I guess, if you wanted to roll that route. Jenna Newman, top of the morning to ye BDE lads. Appreciate that, Jenna. So happy to have everybody here with us, and why not? It's St. Patrick's Day. Let me tell you about Gypsy Vodka. You're late if you haven't started already with the Gypsy Vodka here on St. Patrick's Day. You can catch up, though. I'm sure Sawyer, if he was going to go the Bloody Mary route, he's already said it. Gypsy's the play in his Bloody Marys. It's not a NASCAR day, but maybe he'll have one anyway. It's made right here in the state of Michigan. You can support local guys from the state of Michigan that are giving it a go. 50 different formulas, countless taste tests. Gypsy, the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market today. Can confirm, y'all. Gluten-free, corn distilled 6 times. They use artesian spring water, cool-looking bottle, but the bottom line is this. The vodka tastes good. Hard stop. Go to the store, ask for it by name. It's Gypsy Vodka, as always, every day of the year, but especially today. Drink responsibly.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down.
think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires and hits.
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy. And the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shots, you and a friend are getting out of the cold and to New Orleans.
Got it.
Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Centron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over. Anything can happen in March.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
No off-season for us. We're talking sports. 365. Detroit Sports Network. Woodward Sports.
Off and running here on a Thursday, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel, we got Sawyer Benj here in the house, as always. Chuck Brewer says, Adam from the Morning Show says we should go after Baker Mayfield. Let you guys in behind the curtain. There was a little Woodward Company group Slack that was going around yesterday. He was I'll say it this way, he was very anti-Baker Mayfield to the point where he didn't want you to endorse him publicly. He didn't want you to call him by name. I'll just say it like that. It was rather aggressive, even for Adam. So that's a lot to say. Skipper Sone says, I'll be at the Pistons Magic game tonight in Orlando. We're deep in the streets in Florida. You notice that?
Yeah, I like that. I don't blame them, though. They're smart.
Yeah.
They're the smart crew. Stay there. Be there. I've been down there. Stay down there. You always sneak away to there. You know, we appreciate the love. So get out there, and I think that's what's cool right now too, Neil. Too, and I know from when we played how well the Red Wings travel, but Detroit sports and Detroit people travel well. So always cool to get feedback when people see it on the road. I'm sure there'll be some Wings fans in Vancouver tonight, so don't worry. We don't have to watch it. We can turn it off, bet the over, go to bed, and get the update tomorrow from our fans out there.
Jeremy Grant will not play for the Pistons tonight. Cade Cunningham is questionable. It's a big game tonight, everybody, and you know why. And you know what? I've also done a 180 with the Red Wings. We'll discuss in the second hour of the show.
A 180 on what?
With the Red Wings and my thoughts on the performance and the disappointment level with the games, and there's reasons behind it.
Oh, there's always reasons behind it.
Because we had a change in the information.
Is that a Sammy Flannel? That is influence. He's an influencer.
He is an influencer.
Sam Flannel in there with his red flannel on St. Paddy's Day. I love it. You just work right off your man Neil Rule. You learned it so well, sticking true. But I can't wait to hear that. But weren't you mentioning a little earlier about? You're pounding it down.
I'm not. See, D-Mac, I'm not pounding it down. Yeah,
is you've brought to the attention and sort of the why, right? But it's just not you. You got to take the temperature of the country or what else is out there. So it's just not you saying that. And what is the great way for us, right, to look? And it's not what a coach says, what an interview says, whatever
what a fan says, what an analyst, what a pundit
says. It's what who says.
The money.
The money, right? Follow the money. And what are we talking about? We're talking about sports. We're talking about betting. So we're not talking about teams here. We're talking about players. Now, what may I be alluding to, Neil, that may give some credence to your angle about Malik Willis going number 2 overall?
Well, here's the deal. Little organization. Not sure if you're familiar with their work. FanDuel.
Okay.
You have heard of them once or twice, right? FanDuel released their odds of who will be the second overall pick in the NFL draft. And look at old Malik Willis, a co-favorite with Kyle Hamilton at plus 380. Yes, there it is.
I think the fact that you got the quarterback and the safety going at the highest odds tells you that. So what people are, yes, they were saying that with the signings and everything that the Lions have done, this says, we're taking him guaranteed. How many times I see that? Hamilton, number 2, Hamilton. I don't think so. I think more so to your point because of what, and we talked about this before, right? Because in this situation, taking Malik Willis, when you believe that he will be...
This is all under the assumption that he's your guy.
That he's your guy, right? But the Pandora's box or whatever that it opens up for you, right? Because it's what allows you to do. It's sort of like the credit check, right? Here's the pay stub. Here's the insurance. Here's my mortgage.
Income verification.
All this sort of stuff, right? And what do I mean by that? Because it gives you the draft capital. It gives you the term. It gives you the ability to put the team around him. That's the thing, and it goes back to look at other teams that you think are doing it right or you're going to do it the way that they're going to do. I always brought up Cincinnati, but we're not built to do it Cincinnati's way. We're built to do it the Chargers way, right? More of the Chargers way, or even not Jacksonville because they had the first overall quarterback choice, right? But with the Justin Herbert, with having a guy that you can pick, and now you see them putting the team around him. Why? Because they got the money. They got the cap space. So if this is the guy, and they thinking after Goff's done 1 year, 2 years, whatever like this, it opens everything else up. So to your point, I think right now, that's a lot more in play than it ever has been before.
And that's simply been my point since day one.
Be prepared.
Of all this discussion.
It makes so much more sense because of what it gives you. Because the opposite is if you draft Kyle Hamilton. Because then that money there, right, you still need your quarterback.
Yep.
Right? So that $9 million that you're going to spend on Willis, right, all the rest of the money can go everywhere else. But if you spend it on Hamilton, you still need to spend all the other money. And what happens if you don't get to draft that quarterback? You're spending $40 million for a quarterback. So then your quarterback and your safety are worth $50 million. 2 players. Instead of getting the late first round, maybe taking a safety there, whoever's available, there's $1 million, $2 million guy and a $9 million guy, and then the terms of their contracts, $50 million. It makes so much more sense in the whole scheme of things of what this team's building, and it goes on the competency of the organization
and what they think of Malik Willis too. And obviously, you guys have a lot of thoughts. You've all been pretty consistent with your thoughts. Big Play Jay says trade down, which certainly comes into play. As we talked about, those are the odds to be pick number 2. It doesn't say the Lions picking at pick number 2, but remember, it also takes 2 to tango on that. My point with all this is, but here, guys, think of it this way, though, too. I know this is a stunner for everybody, so I'll give you a second to digest it. If somebody else values Malik Willis to the point where they'll trade draft capital, then maybe, just maybe, he could be pretty good. Did we ever think about that? He could be viewed as pretty good. And if he's viewed as pretty good by others, what do you think the Lions might think of him?
Well, in this case, it always depends on who's doing the evaluating and who wants to come up and get him and whatever it is. But, yeah, that's a great point, too. It could be one of these conversations. I told you, he likes him. That's why, it gives you the confidence, right? Like here's an example. If a guy like Steve Yzerman's talking about hockey and he mentions a player's name, right, that he's seen, well, you're going to take notice of that. Yeah. Right? Because he actually said this because of the respect you have. So, again, it goes down to trust in who's in charge. Because in a lot of ways, right, in the past, that same analogy, right, with the Quinn Tricia regime works the opposite. I don't want him. Oh, you know what I mean? So let's take it. So it goes on who's making. Yes, that's important, Neil, but it also is important on where the information. Don't tell me what, tell me who.
And again, he's a co-betting favorite to be the second pick.
That says something right there. That no matter what, like you gotta erase all the garbage or whatever. Like that's
the only thing I've been looking for from people.
We're talking about. You mentioned like Adam going off Baker Mayfield, the Lions. Go look up and see what the odds are if and it doesn't always, but it's not there, so it's not in the ether. This is in the ether.
See, and like people are, I still think people are kind of misconstruing this. And Sam, you tell me, you see the comments as well. I still think that people are kind of misconstruing my take on it. It's not. fist on the table, draft Malik Willis. It's, guys, be prepared that this could it's very much in play. Is that fair? Like, am I giving a fair representation? Because I think I'm being wrongfully cast here.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at FanDuel's odds, they speak for themselves. He's the number 1 betting odd to be the number 2 pick, and that's all you've been saying. And I've been here with you since you started it. So,
right.
Yeah.
So that's fair.
Neil, you've always said that's not the pick, but be prepared because this is the why if they do it. Because now the ether and what's in the universe is showing you that, hey, guys, take a look at this so you're not like, well, where did this come from?
Yeah.
No.
Lamico Cardenas says, what up, Doe? WSN crew. Neil and Darren, would either of you be upset if the Lions were to draft Malik Willis at 2? Would you be upset?
No, I wouldn't because I trust the process and I trust the guys that are taking them. So all this stuff we're talking about, they've talked about a million times. So.
Yep, talking about FanDuel Sportsbook, the odds to be the 2nd overall pick. And this isn't Antigua Corner Sports Bookie Mart either. You know what that's not even insured and bonded in the United States. This is FanDuel, guys. This isn't we went looking for this and we kept looking till we found something that fit the narrative. This is FanDuel. Pretty reputable brand out there. Chuck Brewer says we want neither. Don Burr, this is interesting. And I think that this is going to be the sentiment of a lot of people. Don Burr says, if they go Willis, I might be happy and sad at the same time, LOL. And I think that's a good way to put it.
Well, you're holding your breath because you're like, okay, what does this mean? Because it's just a piece. Now, what are they going to do around it, right? Because it's just not getting this guy and saying, oh, man, here's your guy. This is the guy. No, this is a piece that unlocks the rest of your team in the direction you're able to go.
Yeah, and here's one that I never expected to see. Tony Dell'Acqua, give my man Goff a friggin' break. We haven't heard that contingent, have we? That's the first one I've heard of that.
Well, I think that in reality to it, with Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, and obviously being a part with Dan Campbell when he took over the offensive coordinator's job last year, the fact that there's something there. We saw a little bit of different Jared Goff, so to the point, I believe that, hold your breath, give him a break, but he's got the job, right, even if they draft Willis or whatever like this. So, hopefully he can still continue to. If he plays like he did the last 5 or 6 games and is a competent quarterback, then we're in better shape.
And to quote Jack Harlow, even if you do take Malik Willis, you got options. You still do have options because you have an out after next year with Goff. So, that's where it is, guys. I'm just saying, Pistons Fan 11 says Neil's been on the Willis train for a while. I haven't been on the Willis train. I've been on the Willis is more realistic than you guys ever give it credit for.
It's more of Willis has been on your radar, but just notice that this player, blip, 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 it could come into your draft position.
Yeah. Pistons Fan 11. I don't feel like he said, I feel like Willis is a reach at 2, but I trust Brad and the brain trust. It would surprise me, though. I feel like the way the team has been setting up this year basically is Goff's prove-it year. Well, both things can still be true. And Pistons Fan 11, it's not a reach. You know how I know? He's a betting favorite. So in these circles, man, and I know betting doesn't tell everything, but it tells you the pulse of what's going on. I think that's safe to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, oh, by the way, if you agree and you want to get down on the Malik Willis thing, how about mybookie.ag? That's the play for you. March Madness is here. The play-in games have come and gone. We start this thing for reals, except it is real for Wright State. And I'll talk about that later on in the show. It's very real. It's as real as it gets. But Michigan tips off in about 45 minutes from now. If you've been hemming and hawing and you haven't gotten down yet, here's a play. Go to mybookie.ag. You still got time right now. Predict the winners in the MyBookie bracket contest, and you can win a Bitcoin. That's right. You can win a Bitcoin. There's NFTs up for grabs, over $100,000 more in cash prizes. Whether you're filling out multiple brackets, betting the national championship winner, you go in the futures route, or you just want to bet a single game, or a player prop, or a total, whatever. MyBookie.ag has you covered. Sign up today. Use a promo code Woodward. Make your first deposit. You get a free entry in that My Bracket contest for a chance to win a Bitcoin. Selections will close at noon, so you got about 30 minutes. There's a call to action, people. Quit screwing around. Get to mybookie.ag. Make your first deposit. Use a promo code Woodward. Then you can bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the Michigan Gambling Helpline. 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime. Everybody, yeah, everybody, yeah. Take it up to the top, everybody, never stop, make it loud, make it real, let them know that we're here with everybody, yeah, everybody.
Comerica Park, sunshine, the crack of the bat. More sunshine, warmth. We're almost there, Detroit. Summer 2022 will be the summer of Woodward sports. We just gotta make it through this damn cold first.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. Happy to have you with us. And just a couple seconds from now, we'll be joined by Sean Mann, the CEO and co-owner of Detroit City FC. They will be taking on Charleston Battery in their home opener at Keyworth. 4 o'clock, opening kick. Go to deadcityfc.com for tickets. And, yeah, D-Mac, I mean, we're just kind of wrapping up this discussion. And it's a very divisive, it's not divisive like the daylight savings time. But it is a divisive topic in that you're either with this or you're against it. There's no middle ground.
No, I think that what I'm getting the gist is that there's an understanding whether they like it or not, whether they decide that they think that we should still pick a defensive guy or whatever else. coming around to the fact of this could be the thinking of the line, and this is why. And I think you've broken it down because if you're draft capital guy and you're salary cap guy, you said, well, they could be going this way. And the caveat, too, is because of what it presents. And I think people have accepted that. Whether or not that's the direction they're going to go, we still don't know. I think that everything that everybody's talking about, trade back, do this, do that, I think that with Brad Holmes, all these options are in play because he's not afraid to field the call or they're not afraid to discuss it. And I don't think they know which direction they're going as of right now. But what I like about the Malik Willis is the due diligence and even the caveat of the Senior Bowl, where our coaches were down there and you got your eyes on it and your hands on and stuff like that, Neil. So I like it, whether or not. I think that, was it Don that said I'd be happy and sad at the same time, or scared, or whatever it is? Yeah, because it's unproven water, but the whole thing is that you would absolutely know, like I said, fork in the road. Which way are we going? Are we going? And I'm going to change it to the Chargers way now, right? Is this our Justin Herbert, right? That enables us to next year and the year after be big players in the free agency game and allow. Now, my question that I asked you earlier, even if you took the quarterback this high, you could still, as an organization, if it doesn't work out, get out from underneath this. This doesn't sabotage and blow up your whole organization, sort of like you're fighting against picking a cornerback number 3, and then you got to make up for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you don't have the twofold impact of what happened with.
And
with
a young
like the
team,
Jeff Okudah thing.
And a young team, when you're building it, isn't it simpler or easier, better? I think that the easier it is and the more direction that is shown, by the organization, especially to the younger guys, because they know what they're working towards, right? And then they all can work together. So, again, it comes down to how it all plays out with the draft picks, with the salary cap, and it's all about moving forward. But,
And I know that we're conditioned in a way, being a Lions fan, I know that we're conditioned to be afraid of, say they do this, say they go bold and say they make this play and they do take, say they do that, say they take Malik Willis and make this bold play and that's how they roll out. We're conditioned to think if anybody can get away with a gamble at 2, in my eyes, it's Brad Holmes.
Right.
Because he can pluck a starter in the 4th round.
Well, Neil, that is a big point too, because it doesn't matter the fact of relying that no matter who this regime drafts, right, they're gonna be football players, and we go because history's proven that from the first draft. Now it's being consistent, but it's also going back to seeing what he did with the Rams and the later. So to me, that's sort of like being the poker player, right? Where you it's almost like being Phil Ivey, where you probably got the best edge, the best mind of the game.
So you got a built-in advantage.
A built-in advantage, so you're not afraid to have to go deep. So usually, isn't it, most teams in the leagues, they take flyers on the end of the drafts, right? Like, oh, we're going to draft this. This might be the reverse, where you go with your flyer at the beginning of the draft because you can make it up in the back end of the draft with something else.
No, absolutely. And right now, as promised, we are joined by the CEO and a co-owner of Detroit City FC. It's a City Thursday edition here of Big D Energy, and he's waving to the camera right now. Of course, he is Sean Mann. And Sean, obviously, huge weekend for Detroit City FC. First home match at Keyworth against Charleston Battery in USL play. Everything ready to roll, man? How are you?
Yeah, no, things are going really great. If you can't hear, there's a buzz around the stadium. I'm actually in one of our suites right now. We got field getting lined. We got players training. There's a lot of activity. Everyone's excited. It's beautiful out, and hopefully a little bit of that carries over to Saturday.
Hey, Sean, great talking to you and stuff like this. All excited and stuff. I mentioned to Neil, obviously watching and leveling up to the next league. We saw on the field, competition-wise, playing with the big boys. Obviously, Nate was great in goal. Any sport, you need the goaltending. But talk about it from ownership and with what you guys have put together, and not only how proud, but the things behind the scenes. Because if people don't understand this, what is the occupancy of Keyworth?
Yeah, so 7,000 to 8,000 ish, right around there.
8,000. Well, you guys are traveling in a league that plays in stadiums of 75,000,
$75 million stadiums,
stadiums and stuff like this.
Right.
I guess from an ownership's perspective, going into this, taking this challenge, or sort of being the new kid on the block, what are some of the, I guess maybe some of the pros or some of the cons in dealing with this? Because obviously not only you being the representative of the people in the ownership, but the excitement down there. And for Saturday against Charleston and bringing this to the city, you guys should be commended. But what are some of the things people don't see as far as the struggles, because you're up against it, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, we're unusual in a lot of ways. I mean, there's no other story like this in American soccer, American sports in a lot of ways. I mean, we're a group of guys who've just been building this step by step now for 10 years. And so, we've constantly been reinventing ourselves and always challenging ourselves to go to that higher level, right? And so, this is that next step. And it is hard to convey just the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. And, at this level of professionalism, you got guys who are now, the league, the players all have a CBA, you're familiar with that. Like, we got Players Association, the levels of, like, insurance, like, we have a proper, like, liquor license at the stadium, like, all the kinds of infrastructure, that had to go into it. None of it's, like, super sexy, and none of it's, like, fans are going to notice, but it's all part of building a more professional product. And I think we've never shied away from pushing ourselves and going to that next level. And, and we believe that every level we go at, we're going to be a standard bearer, and we're going to be, the best we can be, and, be one of the leaders in the league. And so, we were actually operating, in a lot of ways, we're already operating at this level for a while. I mean, that's why the guys went undefeated for a year. That's why, you had that success, because we've been operating at this level. So, on the field, we expect to compete. And then off the field, we got work to do to generate the revenue to compete with those big guys in the $75 million stadium. But, we'll just keep pushing ourselves and taking on new challenges. And, I think, we're Detroit sports fans, and, like, we're sympathetic fans who see teams that are complacent, and that's not us. We're never going to be complacent. We'll always keep pushing ourselves.
Joined by Sean Mann here, CEO and co-owner of Detroit City FC. They open the season, the home part of the season, against Charleston Battery in USL Soccer action, 4 o'clock at Keyworth. So get down there to all the pomp and all the circumstance and everything that's going to be going on around there. Again, that's deadcityfc.com for tickets. So, Sean, what about that? You guys played on the road last week in San Antonio, and I... we've been talking, obviously, in this day and age of sports betting and stuff like that. I kind of like to level with people. You guys, the bettors, the bookmakers, didn't really give Detroit City FC much of a chance in that matchup. And there you were in the 64th minute, and it was 0-0 with the betting favorite to win the USL last year in San Antonio, playing at San Antonio. Do you feel as though, while you might not have surprised yourselves, and obviously you guys know what you have and as far as players and everything like that, do you feel as though that maybe you surprised the American soccer world based on the competition that you guys put up against San Antonio?
I think DCFC is notorious in American soccer, and I think it's because of our supporters, right, and that match day atmosphere. It's very well known. But they don't know the guys on the field, right? And they don't know how these guys have been, a good number of them have been together for years, right? I'm looking at Nate here's been with us 7 years. Stephen Carroll's been with us since 2017, 2016. These guys are experienced, and, they're a team, right? And they're a team that has no success. And so, it's a relief, Saturday going against the league favorite and not losing 5-0, right? And knowing not only that, but, we can compete, we took it to them. So, I think we only get moral victories like that for a while. These guys feel fully confident that they deserve to be at this level, and they're going to prove it.
All right, Sean, on a personal level for you, right, doing all this responsibility stuff, what's the most fun part for you? Talk about what do you enjoy the most about your involvement with Detroit City Football Club?
There's all kinds of, for me, it's going to be Saturday, and seeing the thousands of fans streaming into the stadium. That's what we do it for. It sounds cheesy, but it's bringing people together, and it's that atmosphere. There's a long off season. There's just a lot of crap you go through to get to that moment. But being in here, that atmosphere, and knowing you're part of a community that created it, that's what brings me joy.
And you know what? Just to touch on that. Because if there's anything, and I don't care, but to do that walk into Keyworth, to walk through Hamtramck, to be a part of it, you know what? That's what Detroit's all about. And you know what? You guys are what the city represents. I preach it as far as it's a championship team in the city. But when you talk about that compassion and stuff like this, my last question for you, and this is important because I'm getting it through the stretch. What's the best beer served at Keyworth?
I think the Brew Detroit guys have been killing it. So, the Cerveza Del Rey is probably my favorite, without a doubt.
There you go. Right from the horse's mouth, bro. I couldn't be more proud to be a citizen of this state and what you guys are doing. And the thing is that, if anybody, we mention it all the time, from getting down there early, from walking over, going to the folding warehouse or whatever, you guys do it right. Continued success, and we'll just keep building this until we can build that $1 million stadium.
Hey, Sean, I got a quick one for you here, and our YouTube chat thread here. We keep it rolling here, and people are talking about it and stuff like that. And one comment that somebody put on here, I think his name is Brandon Katz, and this is interesting. And I'll land the plane here. I'll land the plane here on this one. He says, Detroit is a basketball city, not a soccer city, and that Michigan's playing in the NCAA tournament, and more people will care about that than will care about soccer. Here's my question to you, Sean. When I look at attendance at a Michigan basketball game at Chrysler Center, that is right around the same as attendance for a soccer match at Keyworth. That's not what I think, Sean. That's what I know. Now, when you hear those types of things, when you hear those types of comments in Detroit, because the reality of the situation tells a different story than what the opinions or what the comments or things like that. The reality tells a different story. What's your take on that?
I love basketball. It was my first sport. I love Tigers. I love sports in general. I think what you find with our fans is a large portion of them, not only are they not necessarily soccer fans, but like they're not necessarily like sports fans, right? But when they started out, right, they came here for an experience and they found something they fell in love with, and I think you see it across American soccer that there's not always necessarily a huge overlap. So is Detroit ever going to be a soccer city? It's not our goal, our Detroit soccer continue having a great experience, putting out a great product, and putting out something that people care about, and represents the city well. So, I'm going to be watching the March Madness, for the next few weekends here, like a lot of Americans, so it's not necessarily competition in my mind. But, anybody who's, down on it, I just say come to the stadium, we don't spend a lot of money advertising. It's because it's all word of mouth. Friends bring friends, and that's how we filled up the stadium, because it's a great experience.
All right, well, Sean, I certainly do.
To that point, that's what I love about Detroit City Football Club, is you do you, bro. You do you to the best of your ability, just like I try to do me. And if everybody else out there did them, like what you like, don't what you don't. You're watching something you don't want, turn it off. Yeah. Don't be an idiot. Right. Keep doing you. I will see you down there at Keyworth. Can't wait. And I implore anybody who loves this city as much, go down there, because there is a vibe. And they're building a really good football team, too.
Yeah. All right, Sean, appreciate the time, man. We'll see you on Saturday. All right, Sean Mann, CEO, co-owner of Detroit City FC. I
hate, you know what?
No, I laugh about that stuff,
though, D-Man. I would crawl through here and fight people right now.
But you know what? You don't need to.
Because they're stupid, Neil. No. Because they always make it a competition about it's got to be this, it's got to be that. How about you just sit back and enjoy and open your mind to something else and whatever. You know what? Yeah, Michigan is coming up here in 15 minutes. They'll probably win. That's friggin' great. Ooh, Aiden Hutchinson. Nobody can guard him. He's going to take 20 shots today and all this garbage. Blow it out your rear end. You don't want it. And you know what? I hate that, because it's a dissension that I just don't need. And we don't need. And I love the fact that every week we'll have somebody on from DCFC on a Wednesday or Thursday in the middle of whatever else you want, because it's what we want here. And you know what? They're doing it their way, Neil. And you know what? That's what I love. But everybody involved with that, it's just like, hey, you compete with yourself. Look in the freaking mirror. I don't know. Are we talking about Michigan and how they're going to get beat by Colorado State? Oh, they're going to win today, and then they're going to lose.
Oh, we're going to see.
Anyway, sorry. It's St. Patty's Day.
It is St. Patty's Day, but I still got my work in at Planet Fitness today. I certainly did do that. I was in the home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at just $10 a month. There is a black card option as well at $22.99 per month. That's less than $1 a day, guys. Get you use of the amenities such as the unlimited tanning, the hydro massage chairs, total body enhancement, and of course, you get access to over 2,000 locations worldwide. You just show up. Scan your badge or scan your phone, boom, go in. Over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses available, unlimited guest privileges. Join in club or online at planetfitness.com. There's always one close by. Now open in Midtown Detroit at the Pistons Performance Center. $0 down, $10 a month right now. Get you access to your home club. Planet Fitness also hiring. Go to planetfitness.com to look at those opportunities. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness
is essential, especially here on this St. Patty's Day.
Big D Energy.
March 21st, 9 a.m. Woodward Sports is bringing a Detroit legend to the Detroit sports atmosphere. You don't want to miss this historic moment. Make sure you're listening to the Morning Woodward Show Monday morning to find out who.
What do you get when you mix fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken with our savory signature sauces? The best damn wings you've ever had. Wing Snob Traditional Wings. Try our Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper. And we toss them to perfection. When your wings are this good, it's easy to be a snob. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wing Snob. We just have better wings.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Neil Rule here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms, and most importantly, trained and certified tanning professionals. They know what they're doing, people. You can join the Pepper Club. Get your unlimited tan on. They'll beat all the competitors' prices by at least $5. Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, and Swedish Beauty lotions available there as well. Go to chilipepperstanning.com. They got the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. They are your vitamin D headquarters, 26 locations, and more on the way. It's Chili Peppers Tanning. Big thanks to Sean Mann, Detroit City FC, my guy John Hevron, too. Media relations there for DCFC, taking care of that. Brandon Katz, he goes back in, and that's fine. I'll engage. Neil, you can't just look at attendance. You also have to look at ticket prices. I guarantee people are paying a hell of a lot more for a Michigan game than a Detroit soccer game. No, see, Brandon, I would say you can look at attendance, and they're in the same ballpark, man. That's not what I think. That's what I know. You can explain it all the way you want to. I'm hitting you with the math, my friend. Like, that's what it is. I'm sorry, man. It's not this, Michigan, you guys aren't Michigan basketball fans. You're Michigan basketball fans when they win. That's when you are. Or when they're playing Michigan State or Ohio State.
Wait, is Michigan a football school or a basketball school?
Depends on what
basketball school when they win.
When they win. It's whatever they're winning at. And that's not a slight at Michigan. You're fans. That's the way fans operate. You can't tell me you can't just look at attendance. Then what else can you look at, Brandon? That's what tells me what people give a crap about, dude. If you're willing to invest your time into it, then you care about it. I.e., if enough people care about it, it's a successful product. Because you don't like it doesn't mean that other people don't. And there's thousands that go to every game for Detroit City. And this, Michigan plays, and don't act like you were there watching the Rutgers game. You know how I know? Because there was only 7,100 of you that were there watching the Rutgers game. And those, in the box score it was 11,000. Yeah, we do that at Oakland too, right? There was 4,100 people there. No, I know there was 3,700, but what sounds better? And don't tell me that's what you guys do it. I know for a fact, Brandon. I know for a fact. I talked to all the people. Come on, man. You can't look at attendance. Yes, you can. What else is there? Come on, bro. All right, sorry.
It's sad because, I don't know, I just thought that, it'd be enjoyable to say, oh, man, game's at noon. We got time to, what are you going to talk about other than in the first round of a 60-14? Is the first round, right? Or, I know why we should talk about Michigan. Because it's the only game they're going to play. Here's my question. Does Michigan and Michigan State, does one of them win their game, or which one does, right? Because there's a strong possibility that one of them's out after the first round. So eager to see it. We'll get to see what hour of the show, Neil, in college basketball. What's the game take? Hour and a half? With the what's the duration? 2 hours
of
a college basketball game?
Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah,
with everything involved.
That's the window that TV provides.
So we'll know the first half. We should have a good feel whether Colorado State or the Michigan Wolverines, who will be up by half. Halftime should be over by the end of the show, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that's what it is. I mean, those are the facts. Brandon Katz, I'm not saying attendance is irrelevant. I'm saying ticket prices matter, too. Not when you can jump on... The market dictates ticket prices, man. When you can jump on StubHub and get tickets for $8 when they play Northwestern, that's a fact. What do you got, Sam Flannel?
So I'm a Michigan fan, as you all know. I went to see Michigan, Iowa, and I paid $3 for my tickets. I'm just saying. Not that expensive, right?
Well, that's irrelevant. How much you pay is irrelevant.
No, I mean, I don't.
Well, how many people there are irrelevant?
I mean, it was not a full house. Not even close.
Yeah. See, there you go.
I'm outing the school I like, so...
That's what it is.
By the way, you're right. YT Sparty, friggin' Aiden Hutchinson's going to get a double-double today.
Yes, he is. So,
hey, it's not the fact that I know or don't know. It's whether I care or don't care.
yeah. Well, you've been there. You know. Like, I don't have to convince you. You've been there. You've been in the middle of it before. You've seen it. And look, I'm not saying that it's, it's got to be for you or anything like that. I am saying that it's a professional league here in Detroit.
It's an option. It's the best one in
that gets between 6,000 and 7,000 people at every game, that has a network television deal in one of the 15 biggest media markets and a national televion deal with ESPN. That's what it is.
You know what it's like? It's like hockey. You know what?
It's exactly
it's like
like
hockey,
that.
Because you can like negate it or whatever until you go live. It's the experience, right? Yeah, I agree. Like, if it was just like it's a little tougher to watch on TV, but to be around the experience, the walk, and to know it's in your city, that's the whole thing. If you take that pride, if you care. If you don't, that's cool too, but it's just another option.
Yeah.
And obviously it's building because people like that option. So, and the fact that it's homegrown and they did it themselves.
And that's my overriding point in all of it. And we'll move on. We're going to move on.
It's the people's championship.
We're going to move on. It's the sports story that you all claim you want. No high leverage tax dollars for stadiums. They took it to the people. They paid for the renovations at Keyworth. When they're done with the stadium, they're going to give it back to Hamtramck schools. Like, not that it's not theirs already, but they'll vacate, and it's their stadium, and it's refurbished. I would think that, and it started, 5 guys owned it, putting in $2,000 of money, and they built it into the second tier of American soccer. They're in a league with $75 million downtown stadiums in big media markets. It's impressive.
Do you not take
and
pride?
It's everything that you guys say you want.
I take pride in that. Yeah. I take pride in that because that's getting the hands dirty and doing it. And, you're talking about all the stuff that we complain about in owners and sports. Well, this is one that's in your backyard that's not like that you can be involved in if you so choose.
Right. So there you have it. And we will. We'll move on. We wrapped up the Malik Willis discussion. There are some things I want to talk about. I've had an adjustment with the Red Wings as Michigan, Colorado State, the NCAA tournament, getting ready to tip off. You should go to woodwardsports.com real quick. Fill out a bracket really, really quick before it locks out on you. Free crack at $1,000, everybody. So go do that right now. Got about 3 minutes to do it. That's a call to action if I ever did hear one. You know what else? Sawyer's going to give you a call to action right now, too. If you're going to the Detroit City FC match, if you're one of the 7,000 that will be at the Detroit City match at Keyworth, which is across the street from...
Boom. The Fulling Warehouse right there. I mean, perfect place to pregame the DCFC game this Saturday. I mean, go get it in, throw some footballs, then go watch some European football. I mean, what a better way to spend your Saturday, getting multiple different angles of football going all at once. But while you're at the Fulling Warehouse, make sure you go to their 2 large bars. I mean, 2 of them. So you'll definitely be able to get a drink, no problem. Go to the mystery beer machine, put $2 in, you get a mystery beer out, no decision making, no nothing. You just give them $1, $2, then you're drinking a beer. Easy peasy, then you're on your way doing some Fulling. And if you don't want to do that, they do have over 100 beers to choose from, so I mean, you're going to have to make a hard decision, but it's definitely doable, and they got a lot of choices for you to go through, so you got no problem finding something. And then I know you're going to get hungry. We all get hungry. Fulling Warehouse got you covered there, too. You can bring your own food in, Uber Eats it, pack a picnic basket, bring a blanket, have a good time with it. They're not going to stop you. They just want you to eat and continue Fulling and continue having a great time. The game was made up at the Indianapolis 500 at the Motor Speedway, place near dear to my heart. So that makes it so much more special for me. Every time I'm in Indiana, they have a Fulling Warehouse there. So, I always try and get some of my fraternity brothers to go and get it in while we're down there as well. So if that sounds like something you guys want to do, just go to thefullingwarehouse.com. I'll say it again for you. It's thefullingwarehouse.com, or to show up in person at the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. This is Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Be right back.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me! It goes down!
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires and hits!
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy. And the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shot, you and a friend are getting out of the cold into New Orleans. Fitness. Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Syntron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over. Anything can happen in March.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sawyer. We got Sam Flannel in the house as well. YouTube chat thread. Brandon, you want to keep going in? That's fine. The difference is if you compare U.S. soccer to any of the major European pro leagues like La Liga, Premier League, Bundesliga, it's not an impressive product. Well, Brandon, I would say if you compare Michigan basketball to the rest of the Big Ten product and you go 17 and 14 and 11 and 10 in Big Ten play, I would say that's not an impressive product. Right? Isn't that along the same lines? Is that according to your logic, is that a fair comparison? So why would people go to that? I don't know. It's just a question.
All I got is that I'm glad you guys got my Aiden Hutchinson reference because it was a freaking joke to say who gives a crap anyways. And either, YT, Dante or Devontae Jones, whoever you want. Why are we talking about a guy who's not playing with a concussion? Anyways, it's not going to affect them this game. It's going to hurt them when they lose next game. But don't worry about it. Right? So I'm glad you guys are paying attention that you know Aiden Hutchinson is the football player.
Yeah, so anyway.
But he still might have a double-double today. You never know.
Yeah, well, let's get you qualified. So let's get somebody qualified for the shot at going to New Orleans to see the college basketball finals on Woodward Sports. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Afternoons here with Big D Energy and Drive Time with the Bottom Line. Want more chances to qualify? Follow Woodward Sports on Twitter, the Gram, and go to woodwardsports.com. Let's get somebody in that's not already registered here for it. So if you've already been registered, sit this one out if you don't mind. What radio station can you find Woodward Sports on in the Detroit area? Give me the radio station. I talk about it every single day. So in the YouTube chat thread, let me know what radio station you can find Woodward Sports on all day long as well. First one with it will get qualified, and then we'll bring Sam Flannel in to it. Robert says, stop comparing DCFC to Champions League. That's like comparing Michigan to the Lakers. Well, I don't know. They are pretty comparable now with the way the Lakers are projecting right now. They are struggling over there, man. It is a bad scene. A really bad scene. They want to take a couple minutes here, and this is nonsense, but it's here, so I'll get your guys' thoughts on it. YT Sparty, so sad. Neil Rule is a basketball aficionado is pissing on March Madness. No, I'm not. I'm talking about a comparison between the amount of people at a Detroit City game and the amount of people at a Michigan basketball game because it's comparable. That's not what I think. That's a fact. March Madness, by the way, starting in about 12 minutes. Conveniently, for some reason, a 17 and 14 teams, the game alone, too, starting the tournament on CBS. That's really weird.
Bus trip down to Indianapolis just to make sure that the travel. Oh, did you hear about Colorado State's travel?
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
They forgot to send
do you not think? Let's talk about this game. Here we go, guys. Did you know that Colorado State, did they make it in for the game? Because the NCAA, who it's a tournament, they're responsible for booking all the teams and stuff like this, just forgot Colorado State to get them in a reasonable time?
Yeah.
Right. Did they end up flying, bussing, doing whatever else, but they didn't know how they were traveling to Indianapolis as of 2 days ago, correct?
Well, they didn't know when. Yeah, they didn't know what time, how it was going to shake out. The NCAA is supposed to take care
that's
of the
their
travel.
Responsibility, right?
So there you go. And Mark, chalk another one up for the NCAA. That went very well. I see we got a winner, Sam Flannel.
Yeah, Dom Rivera.
Dom Rivera.
I don't know if he's already qualified or not, so I'm going to make an executive decision and say Dom Rivera and Edified Voyage. Whoever Edified Voyage was second. If Dom Rivera hasn't qualified, he can get qualified now.
I don't believe he has, at least not on our show.
Oh, well, I'm still going to let both of them in. Edified Voyage and Dom Rivera. Just email ilovemarchmadness2022@gmail.com. I'll repeat, ilovemarchmadness22@gmail.com, and I will get you registered. You just email me, and I'll tell you the next steps.
There it is. So you're in there, guys. Appreciate you listening on 93.5 The Roar, as well, and 94.7 HD2. But, I do want to talk about this just real quick. This Baker Mayfield thing is hilarious to me. It's hilarious. This whole...
hilarious that you'd even think about having him in the Lions uniform.
I think that's
hilarious. What he did saying... What he came out and said, or which is, tell me the hilarity.
For me, it's number one, this kind of stuff from Pro Football Talk. This was very bad on their part, I thought. If Baker Mayfield's out in Cleveland, the Lions should consider bringing him in. He'd fit perfectly with the team's current attitude and mindset. Yeah, you know where he wouldn't fit perfectly? The part where we would like a good quarterback here. And I've done a 180. Get some. I've done and I used to be a big Baker Mayfield guy. But you know what really officially turned me off on this guy? It isn't even anything that happened on the field. It wasn't the fact that he was an interception factory last year. It wasn't even that. You could chalk that up. A guy in our chat would probably say, well, he just had an off year. You can't take that into account. Brandon would probably say that in our chat. Here's where it is for me. It's not only A, that he is a turnover factory, but B, he puts out a statement thanking Cleveland and everything like that, and signed his middle name to it. Who signs their middle name to anything?
Middle name got you, right?
It did, dude, and I don't know why. Maybe that's a character flaw on my part.
No. It's the same thing on the opposite end. When your mother or grandmother uses your full name, you're dead, right? It's the same thing as he's trying. To me, it's the statement as he used his full name, so that was him. He was done. Right, that's what I think. To me, I like Baker. I think there's something there, but there's a lot of the pros and cons, and sometimes I think that he has a finger on the pulse of reality, and sometimes I think he doesn't. But I don't think with where he's at, where this team he's not an upgrade from Goff. From what Goff proved with what he was working with, and I'm going by the last 5-6 games of the season, because what am I seeing? Well, the same guy, the coach, and Ben Johnson, who's now the offensive coordinator, was the guy who was in Goff's ear, and they worked well together, and he's got Amon-Ra St. Brown. So, no. From what I saw at the end of the season with Goff, it's the same thing as if you brought Baker and you'd be expecting the same things. Let Goff grow with this team. You don't need to move money around. And plus, this just like Baker, Regan, Mayfield. That's just going to, wherever he goes, whatever happens to Baker Mayfield, this isn't the last of him writing letters with his middle name.
Dude, and that's been the flip with me. And so you can appreciate that. That's almost
like a presidential letter, or something that you'd see back in the monarchy, right? Where's the stamp?
I don't know. Sawyer, is that fair of me? Is that a fair conclusion that once you and it's a parlay effect, right? It's a parlay effect. Not only did he sign it with his middle name's Reagan.
Yeah, that one just didn't hurt him, or didn't help him very much.
No.
I mean, especially getting it out there in the social media era now. I mean, everybody's going wild with it. So, yeah, that one hurt. And it was just, pretty emotional. It's kind of Aaron Rodgers whiskey vibe to it and everything.
The only thing that was missing was just being, midnight on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that was missing with that.
Yeah, he did have the note text down and everything.
Yeah.
I like how people have started to do that, by the way. Any serious post, they just type it out on a note, screenshot it, and then tweet it out.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
see, that's
Alfredo,
for seriousness. That's for a fact.
Dramatic
That's
effect.
because I'm serious, and I put pen to paper.
Yeah.
That's almost like I picked up my phone and I called you.
Briez says, if you give me Baker Mayfield and your first-round pick, I will give you Goff. Now, that's fair.
Well, we didn't talk, we're not talking with dumb, deals that make the thing go better.
No, we're not doing that, because obviously that's not going to happen. Just like it's not, I would have Sawyer put it on the poll, but I'm not going to. Because there's no reason to do this, right? This is just a PFF. Let's get clicks. Let's get Big D Energy to talk about it. I'm sure that's their top of mind. They're like,
oh yeah,
we'll get Big D Energy to talk about this one for sure.
We're up there.
Yeah. Well, hey, mission accomplished, Pro Football Focus. You did it. We did discuss it here. And, that's what it is. What do you got, Sam?
I got to get some Baker Mayfield slander in before we
everybody get out your system.
That is so off-brand. He says, I got to give him some. I got to give some slander. Please slander
I
up,
haven't
sir.
liked him since he came into the league. In 2 out of his 4 seasons, he was an interception machine on a team that had the best running game in the NFL. Nick Chubb has averaged 5 yards per carry every season. Good defenses with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. And both of those 2 years, they had Super Bowl rosters, and I believe that the only reason they didn't make the playoffs both years was because of Baker Mayfield. And to top it off, I think he's a douchebag. I do. He is not. He has no moxie. He has no leadership. He's a douchebag with a temper, with Napoleon syndrome, who plays with a chip on his shoulder. And that's my Baker Mayfield setup for today.
Hey, I like that, Sam, and that's going to go viral today. I got your back if Baker comes to town. But I know the problem, and this is a lesson to everybody out there. You can't have that big of a house. He's spending too much time on his house, fixing up his house, and those commercials and stuff like that, not spending time or lack of talent. Either or. One or the other. But I think his time's done in Cleveland. But where's he end up? He ends up somewhere. He's better than... Listen, if you're Pittsburgh, they just signed Mitchell Trubisky.
Yes.
I think Baker Mayfield's better than Mitchell Trubisky.
Depends on the money. See, I would say that Trubisky had the money.
And there you go.
Versus the money that Mayfield would command.
So would you put dependent, and you're right.
And because they got Trubisky, they got Miles Jack yesterday.
That's against him, right? That's going to drag him down, being the first overall pick with the contract he's got.
About 4 minutes away from tip in Indianapolis, Michigan, and Colorado State. David, I'm curious to see how Michigan's going to defend David Roddy. I am, because he's very unique with that 6'5", 250. If they put a big on him, he'll drag him out. And his game's very versatile. If they put a big on him, he'll drag him out. If they put a small on him, he'll post him. I wonder if they'll flash double the post. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. SMA's been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance abuse disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. Check out woodwardsports.com and give a listen to the Sports Marketing Agency podcast entitled This is the F Word, a series on fentanyl. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com, thesportsma.com, and check out their podcast, This is the F Word, a series on fentanyl, done by the Sports Marketing Agency.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Back at a Big D Energy Woodward Sports Network. My name is I'm merely Neil Rule. He's merely Darren McCarty. He's merely Sawyer. The star of the show, of course, is Sam Flannel. Our YouTube chat thread. They love it. They love it. Alfredo Flores says Baker's talent is as bad as his commercials. That's all right. Sam Flannel took him to task. I got a feeling you'll see that. If you're not following Woodward on all the social media outlets, you need to be doing so you can relive the glory that was Sam Flannel breakdown of Baker Mayfield's game. So, I like it. March Madness just about ready to roll. Michigan, Colorado State, a few minutes out. 12:40 tip. South Dakota State, my guys, Sweet 16 bound South Dakota State against Providence. Jackrabbits, DMAC, 44% from 3 as a team.
As a team, not an individual.
Yeah.
As a team.
As a team.
Talk about that. That's seasonal, so they've maintained it and stuff like this. Now, they live and die with it, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, and Providence is I'll be honest, I didn't fire up Fox Sports 1 and watch a ton of Providence basketball, but there's not a lot of structure offensively to what they do. They got some dudes and they roll the ball out and they play and they're good. Like they're talented.
More like street ball.
I mean, like
a little bit here there, but
the term is freedom. They have a lot of freedom on offense.
Freedom to create, creative guys.
Yeah.
Let your talent take over.
Edified Voyage, Sam said, I don't know if you can jump in the chat and respond to him. He said he sent the email, said address not found, which he must have typed it in wrong or something, because we haven't had any problems with it. So
say that address again, Sam.
Yeah, I'll say it again, and then I'll try to get on the chat. I love March Madness 2022 at gmail.com. Just one more time. I love March Madness 2022 at gmail.com. All one word. And it's worked for everyone else, so yeah.
So he's about to go. He was going to go Baker on you, but he's going to give you another chance.
There you have it. Doughboy Steve, will the basketball game affect Woodward Sports viewers today? I would think so. I mean, I'm honest about it. Yeah, how would it not? There are some ironclad Michigan fans that are dying to see a 17 and 15 team, play basketball. You know, that we're 12 and 11, and see who gets the right to get cooked by Tennessee, because Tennessee's going to the Final Four this year.
I hope so.
Oh, you got them too?
Yeah.
We can talk about it freely now because everything's up and locked.
Who did you end up? We went through your picks down to the Final Four yesterday. You had, I don't have it here. Who'd you have in your Final Four?
So we had Duke. No one's talking. I mean, Duke's not getting the flowers that they usually get. And I know that they didn't. There's like a lot of barometers now that come to it where they say, well, you got to win your conference title or win your tournament title. The second somebody makes a big deal about something, that's when it ceases to be important, I think. So, I do. I have Duke coming out of that bracket largely because of my Arkansas call over Gonzaga. And then on the other side, I had Baylor in the Final Four. The one that I'm most timid about is the Baylor pick. I will say that. I'm not 1,000% sold on Baylor. On the other side, I had Kansas coming through, and then I had Tennessee coming out of the South.
Who you got winning?
There you have it. I had Tennessee in the final against Duke, and I have Duke winning it all.
You're calling swan song Coach K going out with a ripper?
I think they have the best player too, and I've always said this.
So you think people are sleeping on Duke? I think because what, North Carolina beat them in the last game, and that amplifies everything in the big picture?
Banchero. I think people are sleeping on Banchero a little bit. I do think that.
Okay.
He was the dude right in November when they played Gonzaga in Vegas. That was appointment viewing to me. I sat down and he killed Chet Holmgren.
Can we agree that this Duke team has the ability to play? We've seen a few different Duke teams this year throughout the season, right? But if they play more like they did to the game you're talking about earlier in the season, that's the team that you're talking about winning the championship, correct?
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of the teams are fighting. Obviously, we're going to watch here. Game's underway here. First possession of Michigan.
Yeah.
But the fact is that's what you're talking about. It's different matchups and which team. Which team's going to come together, right? How many? My question to you is this one of those buzzer beater seasons? Like, do we see, how many buzzer beaters do we see today? How many upsets do we see today, right? Going through my pool and stuff like that, maybe one or two, maybe one upset or two.
Colorado State makes a 3. They're up 3-0. It's over. Tear the program down. It's all over. Fire Juwan Howard. Colorado State, the underdog. It's upset day today. I know Michigan's the 11 seed, but they're the betting favorite, so it qualifies as an upset, right, D-Mac?
Absolutely.
It's over. Back it up.
Absolutely.
Back up the
does,
truck.
But this is interesting.
Here's a question for you guys, and we'll get a poll going on this. We'll close out the other poll. Is a bagel just the vehicle for the cream cheese? 45% of you say yes. 32% of you say no. 23% of you say it depends on the bagel. I'm surprised. I thought cream cheese would be the runaway winner. I thought yes would be the runaway winner. So that is that. So as you know...
Oh, they scratched Hutchinson, and they played Dickinson.
There they go. Dickinson got a bucket, so it's 3-2.
Got to penetrate harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
This should be his, not, and I don't mean coming out party, but he should take over this game. This is when you need him in a game like this where, head and shoulders, probably the biggest guy out there, right? To let that talent go to work and what we all expect of him. So we know that Michigan's got to shoot well and stuff like this, but it's tournament time. Who's the team?
Yeah.
Who is the team?
Well, and people talk about like form coming into the tournament and all that kind of stuff. And guys, it does matter. I'm not saying that. But it's not, it's not the most important thing. Your form is while you're playing this 40 minutes right now.
Right.
Because that's what you're playing for your life in this 40 minutes.
But talk about how many times you've seen it too, where there's teams sort of struggle a little bit, and then they get into a game and they get in this tournament and they find this groove. We've seen this with the Cinderella runs or something like this, but there's a belief where you get in, and it's not that bubble, but you get into that tournament. I think that's what tournaments, the one and dones, and all the sports have, is that there's so much up against it, right? In a series, in a 4 out of 7 and stuff like that, for the most part, the better team wins. But in these one games, this is when guys can show out. It's just exciting because usually it's a pattern, right? If games are close, they're usually close in the first. Tomorrow's games will be close. If there's buzzer beaters, there's usually more. That's what they got to do. They got to penetrate.
Michigan's killing them on the offensive glass.
Absolutely.
No doubt. But with all that being said, here's where, for me, another one of the sidebars of the NCAA tournament, which is underway officially right now. It's really the only time that you end up accidentally tapping in to the Price is Right. What's the best game on the Price is Right these days? Do we know? Do we have like a Price is Right insider? I saw before we had CBS cut to the tournament coverage, they were doing the golf game.
Yeah.
That's still there. I'm glad to see it. As a matter of fact, the woman made the putt.
I know.
And won the car.
Yeah. I always like the car ones. My favorite was always like either the roll the dice and put the number in, or higher or lower or something like this. The coolest ones are always usually for the car.
Right. And they are.
Plinko's always good.
Plinko's cool. Those are the staples.
Punch the thing. Punch
what about the one where they had the little mountain climber guy where the yodel song would play?
The yodeler until he goes to the top.
Plinko's getting all the love in the YouTube chat thread, which I figured it would. Which I figured it would. How about this for a poll? The best game on the Price is Right. We're not going to do Plinko though. We'll do the putt game. We'll do the mountain climber. And then what's one of the other staples?
The card game's pretty popular, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's right, the card game.
I like the one where you pick and you got to put the half of the card, right?
The higher or lower?
Yeah.
Will it be higher? Will it be lower? There you go. Yodeler, yeah, that I do like the yodeler one. So yeah, we'll drop that one on there too. Just a little.
What was the fourth one?
Well, we'll do the 3 there.
So card game, golf, mountain climber,
and the yodeler mountain climber.
Bet.
Colorado State, by the way, up 14-7 inside the first media timeout zone. Hunter Dickinson, though, on the other end, gets the layup to go. So it looks like that's what it's going to be. If Colorado State can knock down shots, there's going to be some problems.
I'm nervous, Neil. 14-7. I don't like what I'm hearing. I can't watch it, obviously, because I'm here, but I don't like that. 14-7.
I wouldn't be too concerned yet, man. Colorado State's like 4 or 5 from 3.
And that's not sustainable.
No,
but
it's
to win
not.
This game,
although another one's up on the way, and that one was an air ball.
Oh.
So there you have. It is. It's not sustainable.
And Hunter Dickinson should get at least 25 and 12 on 60% shooting. They have no size. Colorado State has no size. Yeah.
Right, but yeah, I'm definitely team mountain climber as it comes to the Price is Right. And it's fun. I just thought I would bring that up.
The showcase wheel does not count.
Yeah,
that's a bonus game.
The showcase wheel is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
The shopping price game was pretty good too. I will give them that. The shopping game was too. So, yeah, that's just some funny stuff. Look, when we come back, I do want to touch on this Red Wings thing and this Pistons thing. First media timeout, Indianapolis, Colorado State up 14-9. In first round of the NCAA tournament. Rob J says fire Howard, LOL, with the mad emoji. So we'll see. Maybe he'll be fired by the end of the show. I don't know. There's a very good chance, I guess, it could happen.
Before we move on from this, what will be the most telling side? Would it be the first half, the halftime, or when will you know the vibe?
If it stays, if Colorado State can get it to double digits, and put pressure on Michigan offensively. And I mean pressure on them to go away from the post, because that's human nature, right? When you see that you're down double digits on the scoreboard, you want to move faster. You want to get away from what you're doing. There's no patience to go to the post. You got to look at the clock, not the score.
Right.
You know, and I know it's cliche and boring to say, but the offense has to continue to be process driven. And if Dickinson misses a couple of bunnies or something like that, you can't not continue to go to it, because it's apparent.
And hasn't that been right? And hasn't that been more of an Achilles heel in the past, to get moving away from it too early?
I believe so, but I'm not a coach, so I don't know.
Me either.
But I'll tell you where to get a haircut, or DMAC will tell you.
You know what? Forget the haircut. What about the bag? You'll tell everybody where to get the bag. Like $100K? Yeah, like $100,000. You can too. All you have to do, get to your local Lady Jane's, anywhere between 10 and 8. 7 days a week, you can find a Lady Jane's. You go in, you ask your stylist, hey, how do I sign up to get in to the draw for $100,000? Yeah, you walk in, talk to her, you sit down, you sign in, you relax, you'll be watching the NCAA tournament. You can't miss it, man. You can get the King's treatment, everything. They're on right in the mirror, the TVs, no matter where you go. Oh, yeah, don't forget, register for your chance to win $100,000. So walk in to Lady Jane's anytime. Why? It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Neil Rule, D-Mac here. Woodward Sports Network. Be right back.
Woodward Sports is here to change the game. On March 21st at 9 a.m., we have a big announcement. The Morning Woodward Show will never be the same.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Sawyer as well. Colorado State with the basketball and the 14-9 lead. They're 4 of 6 from behind the three-point line, with another one up and on the way. That one barely grazed rim, but an offensive rebound. And that's something Michigan can't allow to happen. They can't allow it to happen. So we'll keep an eye on it, obviously, as things roll on and we play out. And look, we know the base of the audience. A lot of you guys and gals out there are hockey fans. So I did want to touch on this with D-Mac, just from the standpoint of the Red Wings tonight at Vancouver. They dropped the puck at 10 o'clock, and I think that's a good time and a good place right now for the Red Wings to be.
Patty's Day, everybody be passed out. Get over to somewhere, either on your phone, MyBookie, whatever, bet the over. Get it in before you go to sleep. And I mean, it's a joke. As far as I've mentioned it, the defensive play, it's commitment and stuff like this, and it just doesn't continue to change. So we are what we are. There's no sense in getting upset about it. It's #WiserPlan. He knows. He watches it. He's frustrated. We've touched on it. So again, what's important, you look at the game against Edmonton. Yeah, they fought back and stuff like that, lose 7-5. Lucas Raymond being on the board more. Your guy Zadina being involved, but there's a miss. So I would encourage everybody to do what I'm doing and just look at individuals again. This is something I told people how to watch the game about 5 years ago, and there's nothing to watch. Is you got to pick a guy that you think is going to be good. It was easy to watch it. Dylan Larkin, back in the day, progress. So now it's okay. Our young guys are getting better. That's the biggest thing, is the frustration. And there was an interview that our girl Danielle Bruce did with Maurice Sider, and you could see the frustration on his face, where he's got to understand that it's his first year. He can't let it get to him and bother him. And it just, to me, it shows how much he cares. But Yeah, they're in a spiral. It's just something that I trust Stevie to understand the pulse in the room, that this doesn't carry a long-term after. You know, it's like when you're sick, right? You hear with people getting COVID, and then they have the terms after, right? They get over the COVID, and then they have the symptoms after that. We don't want this leaking into next year, right? So whatever it is, you got to trust Stevie on it, but I can't watch. I mean, I told everybody I was grateful it was Tuesday night. They watched the first 5 minutes, and it's 3-1, or it's 3-0, or 3, whatever like this. It was just like, it's a commitment. I mean, I'm making known. A lot of us former players talk to each other and text, and I pretty much reach out to the grind line guys and just go, any of you guys watching this and make it sick? And it's pretty much, yeah, we see it. It's not the way you do it, and it's frustrating, but it's to understand it's part of the process. It's the rough seas, and so understand this is going to happen with all the other teams too in the rebuild. If we look at the Red Wings as being sort of in front of it all, but you're going to have this with the Lions even after the draft, where there's going to be that rough and choppy seas. So again, hopefully they get it back playing in Vancouver tonight, but there's something legitimately not right, and to me it's more the commitment to defense, and it turns to a mental thing because they can play that way. It's just that they're not committed to do it.
Yeah, and for me, D-Mac, I've crossed the bridge now. The playoffs are, not that they were like a realistic goal that you and I celebrate. We said
they
we
were
were
realistic for about 2, maybe up until Christmas or whatever, because they kept.
I think
doing what they
that
needed
first
to do.
Sunday in January, that game against Boston, where they were, they had played 3 more games in Boston. They were like 4 points behind them. They had to have it, and they got cooked. That was really where I don't want to say I officially checked out, because I officially checked out a couple games ago. But now I reserve the right to change my opinion. Now I just want it to continue. Because we're at that point, D-Mac, where professionalism takes over. Winning games at this point doesn't help you in the grand scheme of things. And by the grand scheme of things, I mean the draft. Okay?
Right.
It doesn't help you. It's not as important for the Pistons as it is to the Pistons right now. The whole draft scenario is not as important, because basketball is a different draft. It's a different amount of players that are available. And Steve Yzerman's shown it doesn't matter where he is, he can pluck a player. So I'm not as concerned about it. But again, this argument is undefeated. No one has ever been able to convince me that this isn't mathematically true. Every game they win now hurts their standings, guys. And I know you don't like it. I know a lot of you don't like it. But that's where the professional in me comes out.
Here's the thing, right? And I get what you're saying. So in the big scheme of things, it should make everybody feel better, because as long as this doesn't linger into the future years, you're looking for it. Now, to that argument, Neil, I would say, how did that work out when we were supposed to get the first overall pick, and then with the lottery and stuff like that? So it doesn't matter.
Got Mo Sider instead.
No, I understand that. That's why you let it play out the way that it plays out. So I don't think it's as much, because I don't think it matters where Steve Yzerman picks. He's going to pick the best person.
And for me, like, that's as much as I clamor for it with the Lions this year. But again, that was different.
But they needed that because it's leverage.
Bingo. And that's the thing where there's more leverage involved with the NFL.
I'm not saying, because here's the one thing. You know how if it's going to change and reverse happens is, like, say you finish 4th and then you get the first pick. Like, we move up.
Right.
We benefit from it.
Yeah.
Then
NFL is direct.
Imagine Steve Yzerman with not only those assets to be able to make the trade, but also to maneuver the way that he wants and actually go out and get the guy, not the guy that he has to settle for that doesn't have to choose, right? He gets the pick at the beginning. It opens everything else up. So I see what you mean. That's why the frustration or whatever, you got to let it go, because it's just about, does it hinder moving forward to next year? And so the answer on Blashill still being behind the bench is because Stevie thinks that he's the best guy for the job continuing to move forward with what his plan is.
Yeah. Chuck Brewer says Colorado State started 4 of 5 from 3. Now they're 4 of 10. We weathered the early storm, so let's see what happens. 16-11 Colorado State, just under 11 minutes to play.
They take some
in
bad
the first
threes,
half.
though.
Here's the deal, though, Chuck. Colorado State's doubling the post now. And they have basically a spy on Dickinson that will commit once he gets the ball. So things have changed, and this is the cat and mouse game that goes on.
So now who's the guy who? Tell me. Let's talk Michigan basketball. All right, Dickinson's got to get shut down in the post, like Neil said. They're going to double him and
Brooks
stuff
will
like
have
this.
looks.
Who's got to step up? Who do we expect?
And now they just call Dickinson for the offensive foul with the moving screen, and those are the things that they don't call during the regular season in Big Ten play, especially when Michigan's at home. See,
So
that's the other thing.
up?
Well, I would say a guy like Brooks is going to get open looks. Like, it's not about who has to step up; it's about who's going to be allowed to step up. And if they're going to flash double the post all the time, a perimeter player is going to have to make shots. That's just the way that it is. And so we'll see. Well, we'll see how that plays itself out. The game will evolve as it goes on. And now, Michigan's trying to get Dickinson involved more by setting screens and going into a pick and roll situation. So, see, they analyzed it that they're going to double Dickinson in the post. So now you try to get Dickinson with the ball man on man. So now you use a pick and roll. You see how it goes back and forth, D-Mac?
And now you got
there's a flow to it.
And there's
It's like
something
hockey.
about execution on the end of that, right?
Yes, there is.
So when you where we just saw as the game's on and you're talking it through, but the adjustments that are being made on the fly and stuff like that's who could adjust earlier.
And don't miss layups in transition. You certainly can't do that either. And then Colorado State converts on the other end. So, that's the way that it goes, guys. So, yeah, obviously we're keeping an eye on that. But for me, with the Pistons, with the Red Wings, it's the same way right now because let's be real about it. You don't get rewarded for winning.
And I answered a couple. Here's the one thing, right? Yes, wait till training camp next year. Wait till some of these guys, and you see Simon Edvinson. Do I expect him with the way that he's progressed this year to have a shot to make? Yeah, I think he's in the same position as Sider was this year, is to come in and make camp. So there's a lot of things in play. And to draft capital guy, when you look at that, Steve Eisman's got a treasure trove, does he not, of draft picks and cap space, and he's set up to make Steve Eisman's decisions. He's pretty much fixed all the Kenny Holland stuff.
And that's where I have to step up and say I got caught up in it, and yes, I'm human. I can get caught up in it too. I was like, wow, there's 2 legit Calder Award candidates here on this Red Wings team. You know what I'm saying? 2 legit,
right.
They literally 2 of them could win it.
Right.
And I bought into the sauce a little bit and the success that they were having. And when they would pop up, they'd have a bad loss, but then they go win at Pittsburgh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I bought into that and probably oversold that to some degree. And so for me, I got lost in the sauce a little bit. And I got ahead of myself a little bit.
Yeah, but you're not lost in the sauce that you do have 2 legit Calder Trophy. You have 2
I'm talking about in terms of this year's team. You know what I'm saying?
What we got lost in the sauce is we can score now, right? We weren't able to score. Right. We can fire it in. We just can't keep it out. So before it used to be we give up the goals, right? But we couldn't score.
Right.
So now, that's a blessing, but now it's time to tighten it up because that's something goals are not lately, but they're supposed to be hard to come by at least playoff time in the NHL.
Right, which certainly has not been the case lately for the Detroit Red Wings. Cintron's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron, the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners with the Detroit Pistons and served exclusively at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice. Buy online at cintronworld.com. Save 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Should have spent an hour on this.
Neil Rule here for Wing Snob, and it takes a snob to know a snob. That's why I'm here to tell you about the fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken at Wing Snob. They have the best traditional wings. Don't forget about their signature sauces, the Jamaican jerk or the lemon pepper. Wings are tossed to perfection in any sauce you choose. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online right now. Look, you know what you're sitting at the cubicle right now. You ain't working. You got the March Madness on. You're watching Michigan turn the ball over every other possession. You're angry, so you want to get some wings right now. That'll make you feel better. Go to wingsnob.com right now. Get that order in. Eat them at your desk. Your boss knows nothing's getting done today, so enjoy March Madness with some wings. Wing Snob. We just have better wings. Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty here in the house with you. We got Sam Flannel. We got Sawyer as well. And look, we've been talking a lot about the college basketball tournament. And last night, because I never understood with the Michigan State dynamic. And I didn't go to either school. I went to Oakland. So I never really got involved with the whole Michigan v. Michigan State stuff. You know, I kind of sit that one out and just observe and notice, repetitive patterns that their fan bases go into and things like that. But we divulge. We go away from that. I always hear the fan bases say I could never root for Michigan. I could never root for Michigan State. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Because I thought the same way for a very long time. In Oakland, our rival is Detroit Mercy. It's not much of a rivalry because, we're like 14-3 against them since we got in the league. So it's not much of a rivalry. But with all that being said, I always thought to myself...
you like facts out there. Just Neil spitting that. Just wanted to drive it through.
Right. But for me, I would always said I'll never root for Detroit in anything under any circumstance. But Wright State last night taught me that, yes, you can. So I'm curious to know, is there a scenario where you guys will root for your rivals? Because Wright State is our rival who has taken it to us. We haven't won there since Kay Felder played. It's been a long time.
So more or less what you just said about how you own Detroit, Wright State owns
they
you.
have. They have to some degree. So Wright State last night got their first March Madness victory in school history when they beat Bryant 93-82 in the first four, or as some people call it, the play-in game. So we've talked about this before on this show. The financials of the NCAA tournament, when you qualify, you get $1.6 million that's paid out to your conference over the course of 5 years. When you win a game, you get another $1.6 million for your conference that's paid out along the same timeline. And as you go, you continue to accrue. They call them units because the NCAA can never call it money. It's like why they don't give you cash at a casino. They give you chips so you don't think it's real money. But it is. It's very real money. This goes on all the way to the Final Four. Once you get to the Final Four, there are no more additional units that you can win. That's how they sold this whole first four thing to the mid-majors to get them to sign off on it.
Yeah.
They said, look, we want to squeeze more Big Ten and SEC and Power 5 teams in there so we can get additional shares. And here's what we'll do. We'll put you guys in 2 of these play-in games, which is also why the people that ask, why don't they just do 16 seats for the play-in games all around? Well, no. You got to have Power 5s in there so you can get an additional unit for the Power 5 conferences, too. Don't think that they were just going to be charitable with that money and give it away to the mid-majors. No. They wanted some of it, too. So that's how it works. So yesterday, the mid-major level, obviously, funds are at a premium. Don't have football in the Horizon League. Wright State went out in those streets and did the job for the Golden Grizzlies, for Detroit Mercy, for all the other schools, and they got the extra bag. So you know what, Wright State? Go Raiders. Go get us that money, and you did.
So go get us some more.
So go.
Right?
Well, yeah. All you got to do is beat Arizona now. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, tall task, but I mean,
but if you do,
you know what?
Good
At
for
the
you.
end of the day, see, that's the bigger point of it all, right? So when you have some sort of compassion to everybody else, it was. People always say to me, they ask me who I think is going to win the cup this year or whatever, and I say Colorado, and they're like, how can you ever pick Colorado? I'm like, Joe Sakic's one of my favorite players, right? He's a GM there and stuff. Well, all the bad blood or whatever like that, the rivalry between 96 and 02, that's not this team, these guys. And it's easy, Neil, because facts are facts. We won 3, they won 2, we win. So it's easier that way to sleep at night.
Right. And there's no financial.
No financial.
You guys were playing for money.
And if there wasn't financial, right, like the reality of it is, you know what? When you play them, you don't like them, you got to go back to it. But again, you feel like a part of something, right? It's the same thing as along the lines I compare it to DCFC and everybody building something together. I mean, there's in the weird way, you're rivals, but hey, dude, thanks for the bag. Because that gets you closer. So out of the 1 point, like how much at the end of the day, legitimate money goes back to Oakland.
Well, they chop it up. I believe 12 ways. They split it up amongst the membership and the league office gets. Yeah.
So 50 grand, 100 grand. Like
100,
that's
100
grand.
125.
So that win rate, that's big into especially the program.
But now they get one for making it and they get one for winning. And so that 125 grand becomes a $250,000. It's big time.
Right, and especially in the conference where the Horizon League and stuff where some schools don't have this is a big deal to them, right? This is a big deal. Say like 100 grand, dude.
Well, see, my point is here, and you guys are all pretty much saying the same thing. Clomp Sauce, I'll never root for Ohio State. Tiger Hawk, I'll never root for Nebraska, Wisconsin, or Minnesota, even if it would benefit Iowa if they won, which it does. Chuck Brew, I'll root for State, never Ohio State. Their fans are always so toxic. And, that's where, for me, and probably like a Michigan fan, it doesn't really mean as much because the money doesn't mean as much to you guys. But you get 9 teams in, DMAC. You're talking $1.5 million per team. You know what I'm saying? Like, do the math on that. You're talking $14 million for the conference off the rip.
You got a great grasp.
You're getting $1 million a team.
See, here's the bracket. You got a great grasp of looking here and seeing all the teams and going, where'd all the money going? At the end of the day, I don't even have to look at it because I can assume, hey, how'd the Power Fives make out?
Well, and it comes back to, too, you get where I said Murray State and San Francisco, magically they're playing each other, so one team's out.
And that's the whole thing.
And then Kentucky's waiting for them, whoever wins.
Now, let me ask you this, Neil, because of being involved with all the other lower schools, but the way that they do it and the way that they try to give out the money, right, to the fact that there's an extra, like, I know what they try to do. It's almost like, here's your dollar, because they know, too, 100 grand or 200 grand to the smaller schools is huge, right? So do you like the system, the way with the extra, with the playing games, the way they've done it, the way they circumvented? I know they're like trying to like, hey, this is it, but you see it for what it is.
Yeah,
but
I see it for what it is.
You also see how it plays out and benefits. So do you like the system they have in place? Is this a better system than the bowl system?
Well, the bowl system's the same way. The bowl payouts get pooled. It's the exact same thing.
Is this more fair to the smaller schools? Or is it the same thing?
It's the same thing, dude. Okay. Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
I think that's what I'm trying to understand is that pretty much the NCAA, this thing here, and bowl season with the payouts and stuff like that, they all try to appease the smaller schools in a little way and make the bigger schools happy, right?
Yeah, 9 Drink says I'll root for State if they're not playing Michigan. It's just when it financially benefits you, and that's where college is unique to the pros. And the pros, hell no, because you're playing straight up for money. Winners get money, losers don't get as much money. Like that's the way that it works. Sawyer, want to go to you, my friend. You have an announcement here that affects Big D Energy, that affects Woodward Sports. So, the stage is yours right now, Sawyer. Give us your update, man.
Before you start, some BS, man.
Oh, all right. Yeah, so actually tomorrow will be my last day doing BD and working at the Woodward Sports Network. I actually accepted a role to be a technical director down in Louisville for Spectrum News 1. So I'm starting that March 28th. So I'll be running there.
Where's that?
Down in Louisville, Kentucky.
Is that bourbon country
Right
down
at the
there?
heart of
That's
bourbon
the bourbon
country.
trail.
Oh, yeah. Going to turn into a mini Neil.
You've been taught well, young Padawan.
Yeah, so certainly as Colorado State makes another 3, they're up 28-13 with 5 minutes to play in the first half. Michigan State, I think, has more turnovers than field goals. But Sawyer, I do want to take this moment. I think I echo the sentiments of DMAC. I think I echo the sentiments of everybody at Woodward. You came into this show, man, and you took it to another level. There's no doubt about it, dude. I've become friends with you, which I like, I enjoy. You're a good dude. Number one, you're a good dude. The work stuff is the work stuff. Number one, you're a good dude. Number two, because you're a good dude, we become friends. And number three, because you're my friend, I want you to get everything in life that you want, even if it means, it affects me in the short term, because it's not. Because we got our guy Spencer that's going to be stepping in on Monday. Spencer Raxton will be stepping in too, and hopefully, that I have the utmost confidence in Spencer to take care of the mail as well, because he's solid. He's rock solid. I'm a big fan of his. Enjoy his company as well. Look forward to building a friendship with him, because I know a lot of people say that you can't be friends with everybody you work with, but I've always got a lot more friends that I work with than don't.
Why can you not?
I don't know. People always say that. I don't know. That's what I've always heard.
That's them.
So everybody's saying good luck. AC says, what about the Motorsport Minute? That's the first thing. Everybody says, what about the Motorsport Minute? We'll think about that, and we'll figure out what we're going to do with that, because Sawyer made that whole thing go. He made the show go, and certainly looking to the Spencer Raxton era on Monday. But for DMAC and for everybody here, Sawyer, thank you, brother, for everything you did, and appreciate you, man, and go get everything that you want in life, dude.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And
I got some great advice for you, though, kid, is that you're going to go there, you're going to conquer the world and everything, but you know what? If you need it, why don't you take Guardian Alarm with you? Because they get it. They'll keep you safe anywhere you go, for your home, your business, no matter what it is, and that's for everybody at home. I've been saying this all along with the new state-of-the-art. You can control it from your phone, your lights, your temperatures, the smoke detector, and the silent, deadly killer carbon monoxide. So no matter what you are, Guardian Alarm, your local security experts for anything you need secure. You can be a part of it no matter where you are, but I need you to call today. 1-800
Stay out.
That's 1-800
Stay out.
Now, Sam, you're gonna have to say this real loud so that Sawyer, his new place down in Lexington, can hear us. So if you're down, or in Louisville, if you're down in Louisville and you need Guardian Alarm, 1-800
Stay out. Get out of my house. Congratulations, Sawyer.
That's immediately stay out of Sammy Flannels. Wherever you go, get Guardian Alarm. Your local security expert, tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Big D Energy. We'll be right back.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, and of course, we got Sawyer as well. Sawyer's last day tomorrow here with the show. He's going to Louisville to be the TD for Spectrum News 1, so dream come true for him, and we appreciate it. Louisville is very, very cool, as you guys are saying. And Detroit Dabber says he can see it already. Local reports say a man broke into Folling Warehouse and stole one of the mystery beer vending machines. Was last saw at the Ohio...
Folling Warehouse should send you down to Louisville with a mystery beer machine.
That would be pretty sweet.
That's just me.
Yep, so there you have it. Robert Colosio says Sawyer's moving to NASCAR country.
Oh, yeah.
Are you fired up about that?
Oh, yeah, it'll be a good time. Kentucky Motor Speedway is a pretty nice track to go to. I've been there a couple times, so just
What about
cookie
the Derby,
cuddle.
bro? You're going to get all dialed in for the Derby.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually excited for that one. That'll
You're
be
a mint
good.
julep guy.
Go to some Louisville Bats games. Maybe when DCFC's playing, what is it, Louisville FC?
Lou City, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you'll have to come down there.
Absolutely, I will.
Hit up the Urban Bourbon.
Where are you going to be living at? You downtown or what?
It'll be like 10, 15 minutes from downtown. So
Okay.
over in a place called like the Highlands type area. So it's only like 10 minutes from the station too. So
What you got, like
the
a
hour drive.
1-bedroom apartment or something, or what do you got?
Yeah, 1 bedroom.
Do you?
So yeah, it's a good size. Not too big, not too small.
All
Don't
right,
have
well,
to try and fill it up.
Well, that's all right. I'll come kick it, especially over the Derby weekend.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
Save me about $400 a night.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be a good time.
No, absolutely, man. But again, happy for you. The people are upset, but they're also happy for you too, and that's what it's about. That is a lot of goodwill there in the YouTube chat thread. I know you had a proposition for us here,
I did.
and I didn't get a chance to look at this pre-show.
I didn't look at it either.
I'm curious to see.
So am I.
Are you taking this deal for $1 million a year? You get $1 million a year, but the catch is you have to take a hook from prime Mike Tyson once a year. Are you down? I don't know.
Sure. That's easy.
Is that like...
That's easy. So he knocks you out for 3 days. Fuck you. At that time.
12:55.
You have... you're down for 3, 4, 5 days. You got 360 to enjoy the money.
What about when you go to the hospital? What about...
So you're in there for 2 weeks or a month. I mean, I don't know. Broken jaw, what's it worth?
I'm hearing and moaning and groaning. That must mean Ryan Armani's in the house watching the Michigan game
you know
next
that
door.
he is, and you know that 31-20, but Michigan's out the ball. When you hear him groaning, it's not even halftime yet. I don't think it's good for the home team.
Yeah.
So stick around for the bottom line with Braylon and Ryan, because I'm sure they'll talk Michigan basketball the whole time.
Yeah, they'll be. I don't know how they're going to do the show, to be honest with you, with everything going on. You know what? $1 million a year. I do it for my family, I guess. I know what
See, do anything for charity. There you go.
Yeah. Well, just because.
Well, see, I don't expect it. I don't see. For me, that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I box. So I mean, I don't want to, but I know that I've seen guys. You get knocked out and get up. So it's one of those things. You're not. Like a fighter guy or whatever like this.
Yeah.
So the question is more to you guys who haven't been punched in the face for your life. Right? It means more sense. For me, it's like, yeah, big deal.
Doughboy Steve says $999,000 of that goes to medical expenses.
Well, I guess the caveat would be he picks up all medical expenses. What about you, Sammy Flannel?
What about when Baker Mayfield comes to the studio and wants to knock you out?
Oh, man. I don't know. I might have to get D-Mac.
No, bro,
with that
you can hang that little snot out to dry. He's not that. He'd be swinging. It'd be like fighting drapes.
He's not that athletic looking. I think we're about the same size. But anywho.
Sam just said he could whip Baker Mayfield's ass.
But anyway, when it comes to that proposition, I would take it. And honestly, kind of like what Neil said, I would do it because I would want my fiance not to have to work anymore. She's a very creative person. I'd like for her to be able to spend all of her time on her creative outlets instead of having to work. So, of course, I would do it.
Yeah. Rich Diana says, Colorado State's a really good passing team. Yeah, they were 14-4 in the Mountain West. Like, this just in, guys. They're a good basketball team. You don't go 14-4 in the Mountain West if you're not a good team. Now, there was a time not too long ago.
And you would know.
Yeah, the Mountain West in the power rankings, man, was like number 3, number 4 conference, and that was when they had Kawhi Leonard and stuff like that.
Right, they've had some good players
San Diego
come through.
State.
I think is that one of the more slept on, like when you look at your bracket and whatever like that, like a lower seed in that division is actually.
Yeah, Mountain West has been slept on for a very, very long time. Update in the other game: South Dakota State with a 17-15 lead on Providence. So there you have it. Tomorrow, final day for Sawyer. We're going to talk some baseball as well. big Miguel Cabrera discussion. I want everybody to draw their line in the sand with Miguel Cabrera. We'll recap some Red Wings and some Pistons. I'm sure there'll be Malik Willis news too, YT Sparty, so make sure you tap into that. Michigan State doesn't play till 9:40, so I think you guys can ride with us tomorrow. Good show today, guys. Really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun.
Good luck. Michigan's down 10 right now. I don't know. How do you think this plays out, Neil?
It'll be fine.
Fine?
Honest to God, I think they're 0 of 7 from 3. They will make a 3-pointer before it's all said and done. Colorado State had their chance when they were up 15, and they had a stretch where they couldn't make a shot too. Don't worry, guys. I think Michigan will be all right. If you're at mybookie.ag, take Michigan with the points right now. Should be around 5 or so. They're getting to the bucket pretty easily now. So just watch it, guys. Just remember I told you so. We'll see you tomorrow for DMAC, for Sawyer, and for
Happy
Sam Flannel.
Green Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hey, don't drive, everybody, all right? Click the button. Don't need to drive. Well, see you later.
Yes, sir.